Hi. So I kind of been meaning to do this for a while because there aren't very many good tutorials on CPM that I've seen, or at least not that I've found. Short of a few PowerPoints and a doc that I intend to have linked in the description of this video, whenever I post it. So today I was thinking maybe I will make a quick tutorial on how to make a very basic type of CPM model, what with joints and whatnot, and maybe like a simple animation just to like get things going. So this tutorial should go over certain basic tenets of CPM, such as, but not limited to, increase the size of your texture atlas, moving pivot points, how to work CPM because it's a little bit bad sometimes. It has some moments, and among other things that I will, and adding joints, and among other things that I'll probably go over that I won't remember at the beginning of this because this is a very impromptu tutorial. So, without further ado, I've made a very basic skin. So what you want to do to get your skin in the game is you go to File. First, to make a new model, you go to New Model, and you click the size that you want. I'm going to go with default Steve because that's what I tend to do. As you see, I have my Minecraft skin as it is right now. This is not what I'm going to be using, because I already have a model for this. So you go to Skin Settings down here, Open Skin. It'll bring up this menu. You don't have to navigate this menu at all, actually. You can just go to System File Chooser. It'll bring up a dialog. I'm going to go off screen, and I'm going to select my template. And I have the Steve template now. And you might notice, he's shaven, he's bald, in the sense that he has no second layer. There's supposed to be, a silly little shirt and pants duo that I've drawn over. He's got some overclothes on. So you go to Edit, Tools, Add Second Layer, and then adds that second layer on there. So now you see that there's the shirt and pants sort of combo. That'll be important for later. I made those for a reason, not because I just wanted to have a shirt and pants. So you now have your very basic template here. A very important first step you want to make is go to Edit, Tools, and Convert Vanilla Parts. Now you'll see that all of these headings here have an H above them, an H next to them. This H indicates that they are hidden by default in animations because Minecraft is very, the reason I did that, Minecraft is very picky about what it wants to have work, or at least this mod is very picky about what it wants to have work with regards to scaling, animations, and whatnot, because if I were to change the size of Texture Atlas now, it would look exactly the same, and if I didn't, here, I'm gonna actually undo this. I'm gonna change the size of this texture. Yeah, it will still say model has vanilla skin parts enabled, changing setting one effect on them because I did not do the convert vanilla parts thing. So I will redo this, I will change the size, and you'll see now that I look a little bit fucked up. I look a little bit messed up. I don't look great right now. I'm gonna, now I'm normal. I'm normal now. So, ordinarily what you do after this, after you convert the vanilla parts, is you would go into your image editing program of choice. I am going to use Paint.net for the sake of this. I'm going to open up my template. You see now, this image is 64 by 64. If you're brave, you can fit a whole model in here, but I wouldn't recommend it after having done it already because you only have this space. Actually, you don't even have this space. You have this space to do it, and that's it. If you want to add extra parts, I would not recommend doing that. So if you want to increase the size that you have to work with to add more textures or whatnot, or add more UVs, you would go into your image editing program of choice, canvas size. You anchor the selection to the top left here, and you make it as big as you want. For the sake of demonstration, I'm going to do 128 by 128. You now have all this white space to play with. I'm going to leave this extra white space. Oop. Hold on. I'm going to press save. It's going to save. And now we have all this white space to play with. Now if you go back to the program, you may notice that there is not the corresponding white space here. Or the free space, rather. That is because you must go into your skin settings down here, and then you change. Then you change it, and it still looks fucked up, and you need to press reload. And now you see that there's all this space to play with. So I'm going to save the model as test model whatever, that's gonna be saved in the depths of my .minecraft folder somewhere, who cares? You should probably save it more appropriate, in a more appropriate location. And also, separately, this file, you don't need to have this saved locally for it to work. It just, like, when you finish the model, it, like, uploads on its own. Like, when you save the model, even if I were to exit right now and open it back up, reload it, and I did not need to reload the file. It just like, it's like that now. It's saved with the project file. It's very nice, actually, because I don't like having that many files on my desktop. So, we have converted the vanilla parts, and now you notice that all of these parts are, you know, rotatable, they're removable. Oh yeah, I should indicate what these are. This is size. If you click on something, you have these arrows here. That indicates the size. And you see in the bottom here that this thing is moving. That is your UV. This green, red, blue box here. If I make it too big, it'll start leaking into the pants, or the shirt area, or the arms area. So be careful with that. If you don't want something to be visible, you click this eye icon here, and it makes it not visible anymore. Not invisible in the animations thing, that's what this is, but invisible in the sense that you just can't see it while you're in the program. Which is very nice, because sometimes things can sort of clip over each other. Okay, this is offset. So offset is not very indicatively named at all. This is your pivot points. So if I were to move it over here, put this back, I would now be rotating from over here. This is your pivot points. This is what you need to move in order to have things work properly. So it was over here, and then, oh, I can't redo it because I just moved something. But if I move it back again, the offset here, I'm now rotating from over here. It's very strange. You're gonna have to fiddle with this a lot for things to look right when you're animating. But don't worry about it too much. At this moment, we don't care about that right now. We care about that later. This is rotation. This is very indicatively named. It's just literally rotation. You can do whatever you want. Side, like this, if you want to be looking permanently sideways for some reason. And this is position. This is like how high up do you want things to be? How low do you want things to be? How to the side do you want things to be? Very simple. And there's also this menu over here is the same thing. Offset is pivot points. You don't have to use the arrows if you don't want to. Rotation if you want to have a very fine control. Oh yeah. So ordinarily, if you're just clicking, you'll have it go by 1 degree. If you shift click, it'll go. Sorry, if you alt control click is 10 degree increments. Shift click is 0.1 degree increments, which I don't know why you would do unless you're a sicko. And you can also just type into the fields directly. So like I want 248 degrees to 148 degrees. It'll be rotated at 248 degrees. If I type in 367.9, it'll rotate it, I guess in theory, 369 degrees, but it'll just say 79. It'll sort of autocorrect for you, so don't worry about that too much. Position and scale. Scale is an important one. In order to have scale even listed at the bottom, actually, you need to go to, God, where is it? Settings, editor, always show advanced scaling settings. It's not very indicatively named, but it always has this option if you hit that. I don't generally use it, but if you want to use it, you can. There's a scale option that is not this, that I'll show you later, because it will demonstrate something that I didn't know. God, I hope this is going okay. So, we now have our basic model. I hope there's not something that I'm missing that's, like, important. We have something... Okay, we have our basic model. So, you might notice, okay, well, this is just a sieve. I want to do something more complex. Well, don't you worry, because we're about to do that right now. So, CPM handles folders very strangely, in the sense that, this... Like, you have to make a 0 by 0 by 0 cube for it to count as a folder in the traditional sense, and it's just very strange, which is like, I don't like to do that method, actually. You can if you want. So, you might notice that this is here. So if I click on head, it'll move this all at once. If I just click on head here, it'll move the head but not the hat, which is this transparent area right here. I should have made a hat. Whatever. So if I move the left arm up and down, it'll change the left arm in general, but it will not, but if I just move left arm, it will only move the arm and not the sleeve. Which is very strange, but whatever. Let's put that back. To make joints. Let's say you want to have a slightly more articulated model. What you want to do. Here is the first necessary thing. You're going to smallin these bad boys. You go to size. You make sure in this green area that it says 6. If you want to have equal length joints, because one block is 12. One normal length arm is 12 units. I don't know what a unit's supposed to be in this. It just is a unit. For myself up a little bit more. It's just a unit. And then, coincidentally, you do the same thing to the sleeve. You make it 6 long as well. And you'll notice now that this red part has been chopped off. That is because it is occupying only good texture. It is not reaching down to this red part now. That is for me to discover later. That is for you to discover later why I had it, like, rather, oh my god. I'll get to that point later is what I'm trying to say. I'll get to it. So you make both these sections 6 long. And then, if you want, you can, you notice also that these, if I click on each, if I go to texture, if I click on each of these sections, the left sleeve and left arm, you notice that these two areas are lighting up with the UVs. So what you're going to do actually is you're going to basically go back into your image editing program and like move these somewhere else. Literally anywhere else. It doesn't matter where. I would recommend keeping left arm stuff with left arm stuff, but it's not super integral that you do this. So I save, I press. Oh no, if I reopen the model, I have to open up the skin again, but that's not a huge deal. Let's reload, and now you see that the arm is blank. I have to go into this menu here and manually move this box around, because you can't just click and drag for some reason to make it match up with the arm texture here. So now I have half an arm, and that's awesome. I made it a little bit, is it?
Hold on, need to do some line troubleshooting. Oh, so then wait, it's up enough. Yes, I have this arm here. Go on with you. Oh, I need to put it from desktop. I did not point this out very well. How do people do this shit? Please forgive me. I made this too long. I go back into my editing program. I undo all my mistakes. I did not make them. Don't worry about it. It's like an 8 by 8. 16 by 8 area. 16 by 8 area. Move that down. Then I say if I go back into it. Now it's too short. You have to do some triangling. Please hold. I can't imagine doing this on stream. That would be so lacking.
People do this shit. Now it's the right length. Oh my god, that took like way longer than it should have. It's the right length. Now I have a little bit of a stump type arm. That's fine. The sleeve is, I have to move the sleeve UV down over here too. That's fine. If I go over here, you'll see that there's like a little bit of weird overlap. That's just like a CPM thing. Don't worry about that. I'm also going to make the executive decision too. You can move parts around. If you right click on a given item or a given part, you can right click it, press move, you right click on this again, you place it, and now the arm is parented to the sleeve. Actually, I should do this the other way around. Sorry. The sleeve should be parented to the arm. God. And now you can sort of move these around at the same time. You can move the sleeve around independently, but if you hit this arm, they both move at the same time. This is the entire arm. Don't move this. Don't move this one. This is just the top arm. So I'm going to rename this if I scroll up. Left arm top. Now you know that it's the left arm top. That's awesome. So now you're like, okay, how do I make left arm bottom though? How do I do left arm bottom? So, the other thing about CPM is that it's not very easy to make new cubes. Well, okay, it's easy to make new cubes, but like you're not going to want to do it terribly off. It's very frustrating to do it, but so you duplicate it, you move it down. If you right click it and duplicate it, so I'm going to name this left arm bottom, and then it says left sleeves too. So left sleeve bottom. I right click and I save. I don't have to right click, but you'll notice that because I duplicated it, the UVs are exactly the same. I don't want them to be exactly the same. That's not good. So what I do is I move these two bad boys over here. So this is left arm top, this is going to be left arm bottom. And then I reload, I move the UVs over, and now we have one full arm. We have one full arm. You'll also notice that, there's a hole in there. There's not supposed to be a hole in there. And that's because if I go into texture, this area right here, there is no texture here. I need there to be a texture here. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to, as you see fit, you're going to select a color and just make like this top and bottom area up here. I'm going to do the same thing for the sleeve here, but I'm only going to do the top. So for these 4x4 cubes of UV. I'm going to do it at the top, but not the bottom. This is the... You can't see what I'm doing because this is a red, this is a white shirt. This is the bottom, right here. This is the top. I'm painting only the top. Because if I go back in here, you'll see now that... Or actually, let me just demonstrate by doing the top when I'm not supposed to. Now I have a mitten, and I don't need a mitten. I don't want a mitten. That's why I did not make a top here. I don't want that. So be gone with ye. And now it's perfectly fine. I have made both a top to these... I've made a top because now it's like covered. It's like a little cover like you put like on a cup if you don't want it to get cold, or you're just protecting it from flies or something, I don't know. And if I take off the sleeve, you see that now this bottom arm segment has a top texture as well, because I made a top texture here, and a bottom texture to get rid of the whole of, you know, the arm. Actually, for a more accurate portrayal, I would even just literally move this over here, because this is what like the vanilla bottom of the arm would be. I'm just going to move over here and then do this, because there doesn't need to be a fist on the bottom of the arm. And now you see that I've given myself an arm. Or a finger rather, a fist. If I go down here, I have inside of the arm is now a blank texture instead of a fist. It's awesome. So you literally just do the exact same thing twice, and hopefully I can explain this a little bit better. So I'm gonna preemptively actually go into Paint.net. I'm gonna select a 16x10 area. I'm gonna bring that bad boy down here. Right? And then go into the arm. 16x10 area. I know it's 16x10 because I'm looking down here at the bottom where it says rectangle size. I recommend Paint.net for this, but any free image editing program will do. If you like Aseprite, go ahead, knock yourself out. I own Aseprite, but I never use it for some reason. I'm moving down left arm, I'm moving down right arm bottom. I am moving down right sleeve bottom. I'm doing great, and I'm doing fantastic. Make sure to align that. And now I'm going to edit the textures here for each segment. So the fist goes down here. The bottom of the top segment of the arm is going to be blank. The sleeve has a top segment. And, oh wait, I should actually make a bottom segment for both of these, for reasons that you'll see later. For reasons of if you bend your arm, you don't want to have a hole in your sleeve. And a top segment for the bottom right sleeve. I press save. I press reload. The UVs are now rearranged. I erase the little bit that I did not erase here. I erase this. Move back. Oh, I just didn't copy a part here. It's short. I do it again. I press reload. I go to right arm in the model. I parent the sleeve under the arm. I smallен it to 6. I smallen the right sleeve to 6. I click on the right arm UV. I move it down. Move it down over here. Did I make it too short again? I'm gonna scream my head off. No, I just made the actual block too small. That's fine. Right sleeve, also 6. I move the UV down. And the same thing goes, you can control click to move by increments of sorry, yes, control click. You can control click to move by increments of, and you don't have to individually click. I think that's stupid. These both also match up to the coordinates of the texture atlas that you're using, which is a nice feature, but I don't ever use that, so whatever. I duplicate it. I name this right arm bottom. And I should probably also rename this right arm top. Oops, I don't want to name a transition in OBS, thank you. I move that down. I scooch the UVs over. Alright, and now we have two fully formed arms, and then I save my model, because I don't want to do that again. Now you have two fully articulated joints. You can rotate them, but you may notice that they are rotating in the middle of the arm here. Arms don't usually do that. You don't move your arm like this. It doesn't happen. So this is where pivot points and offset comes into play. For right arm bottom, for left sleeve bottom, for left arm back bottom actually, I am going to move the arm. So this is the weird part that I think is probably very difficult to explain if you aren't seeing it. So this point right here, this area where all the lines meet, that is your pivot point. That's where you're rotating from. You need to move that so that it might be easier even if you get rid of the sleeve. You need to rotate that, you need to move that such that the top of the arm, the top of the bottom segment of the arm is flush with this, and then this is like moved to the back. So now it looks kind of like this from the side, and then you go over to the back view, and you sort of move it in the center. So now the pivot point is in the back, top, and center of the arm. Now you're rotating from like what would be your elbow. You move that back. You don't have to do that for this. You have to move the sleeve back into position as well, actually. You don't need to move the offset for that because you could just select the arm and it rotates in the correct place. Awesome, and it's cool. Oh, it would also help if I, God. It would also help if I, put this in the right place. Oh, it's because the sleeve was up too high. There we go. You're gonna run into stuff like that. So now it's a joint. Now it's jointed at what would be your elbow. God, that only took like way longer than it should have. Okay, we do the same thing for the other arm. We select the right arm bottom over here, click offset, move this to the back, move this down, go back over to the back of the model, move this to the center, you click on position, you move it back into place relative to the top segment of the arm, move the sleeve back down into place on top of the bottom segment of the arm, and now you have another elbow. Another elbow. There you go. That's elbow. That's elbow, baby. By God. You can't deny it. That's elbows. Alright. So, that's why I made the shirt and pants, by the way. To show you how to do it with sleeves, and not just with your base arm part. To do the same thing for the pants. I will now hide the shirt from you because I do not wish to see it anymore in this world at this moment. You see it has left pants leg, left leg. I parent the pants leg under the left leg. I small in it. 6, not 63, just 6. Thank you. Right. I select a 16 by 10 area. Move it down. Select a 16 by 10 area. Move it down. You're going to want to make sure also that when you're selecting the area that you're selecting the right the right UV. It'll be more obvious, I guess, if your texture is more asymmetrical than just Steve. Yeah, so I'm selecting the right pants leg. I'm selecting the right area, the original texture. That's very crucial. I select the rest of it, move it down here. The rest of it, move it down here. I create a bottom texture for the top. I create a bottom texture for the top portion of the pants leg. I replace the bottom texture for the top portion of pants leg. I make a top and bottom texture for the bottom portion of the pants leg, and I make a from there. Make a bottom texture and a top texture for the bottom portion of the normal leg. So I press save, have the UVs, I rearrange them appropriately. Like I said, I rearrange them appropriately. Pants leg. No, come on now. Alright. Pants leg. Duplicate this. Rename this too. Left. Left. Pants leg. Bottom. Left. Pants leg. Top. Ugh. I'm scooch. I scooch. Oh, it would also help if I had the right leg selected. No wonder nothing was changing. Well, that's just fine. Move this down. Christ. Oh. I did this in the wrong order. There we go. You will learn troubleshooting skills in time. Oh, I have to remove why is he bereft of pants? Why is there a hole in his foot? This is why it's important to be careful with your UVs. The right leg for comparison. Oh, because the UV was not placed correctly. Move. Bottom texture. You see I have like a shoe mitten now. I need to remove that. I go back into paint.net. I get rid of it. Be gone with ye. That's my thesis proposal, don't look at that. Okay. That should be good. I don't know why it looks slightly different. Hope that isn't an ill omen. Alright, I parent the pants leg. Do it once more. I parent the pants leg under the leg regular of it. Minimize Minecraft. I don't want to do that actually. Select 16 by 10 area. You don't have to put these all at the bottom. I just like doing that. Select a 16 by 10 area. Select the rest of the pants. Select the rest of the regular leg. Alright. I do the UVs in the same way, so I just copy this part, add another 4x4 cube, I create 4x4 cube, and I just copy this down here. Oops, not rotate, copy it down here. I press save, I go down, I reload, I shrink this, I move it. Oops, not that way. Uh-oh. If you're really lucky, you can get it to line up exactly without having to do the minute adjustments, but you might not. Right leg, right leg top. Duplicate this. Oops. Cancel move. Duplicate it. Right leg bottom. Down here. I place these in the wrong order again. This is what happens when everything is pants in this world. Don't be like me. Alright. Now we have knees! We're knees. You might also notice again that knees don't bend from the middle of your leg. So we change the pivot point. But you don't have to move it to like the top. It's already going to be at the top of the part. So you just have to move it back by like a couple. Move this forward, move the pants leg back. Now have knee, or it would help if I were to, you have knees now if you click on right leg bottom, so left leg. Offset. Move this back by 2. Move the position back forward by 2. Move the pants leg back by 2. Now have knees. And now bend. You can now be a walking awesome adult. Okay. Oh god. Armless. Alright. That's how you do joints, at least. That's how you move pivot points. That's how you increase the texture atlas. That's how you make new UVs or move new UVs. And also how you reload textures in CPM. So, god, that took a half hour. So, for basic... Actually, no, we're not even going to do basic animations yet. If you want to make your guys small, let's say you want to make your guys small. You go to Add Parts. First, you do Add Held Item Position. This is going to add parts called Head Item, Left Hand Item, and Right Hand Item. This is where you hold blocks and such. So if I go to Display, Item in right hand, I go to Sword. If I select Right Hand Item, this is where it would be. I'm just moving that. You're going to want to, God, if I can do this right, you're going to want to parent that to right arm bottom. Move that up to where you want it to be, where you think is appropriate. Oops. Left hand sword. Left hand item. Parent this to left arm bottom. Move this back up. There you go. Now you can hold 2 swords in your hand. It's easy, comfortable, and it's free. Alright. And if you're ever worried about having positions be the same, you can look up here and sort of like, you can look up here and see if they match. You don't have to do guesswork. So right hand bottom. So this is actually not in alignment. This is 1. This is 0 and -6. This is 1 and -5. So technically something is not correct here with regards to alignment. It's not. I don't know why it's looks different here, but whatever, I guess. Also, if something doesn't look right, you can use your executive decision to make it go back in line. Whatever. You can directly refer to things from this menu if you want to get things exactly precisely correct, but you don't have to. It's not required. God, okay, let's do left arm position. And if you want to make your guy small, that's not it. You go to, God, what is it again? No, it's tools. That's template link. That's not a thing you can use. Template. I forgot how. Oh, scaling. You go to display, or sorry, effects, scaling. It'll add this part down here, and you'll see why I added the left hand and right hand items as well. So half these things don't work if you don't have CPM installed on the server, or if you don't have Pekuri installed on the server. Don't worry about all of these things except for model display. Model display is a thing that works client side. If other people have CPM installed, they will see your model as is. So you can't change third person distance, you can't change eye height, you can change model display. So if you scale, if you scale the parts down, you'll see that if I press this, it goes wider, taller, and longer. You can make a gnarly looking long Steve. But a lot of people like to do is just do 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. So now you have a small little Steve. And you may notice, you probably have this grid. Oh yeah, if you want to get rid of the grid, you go to display, draw block, and grid, get rid of that. And enable and disable that as well. You might notice he's floating off the ground a little bit. Go down, and make him stand on the ground. And now he's on the ground. Now you have a small little Steve holding the items in the correct position, and he's on the ground. So if I were to go in game and just test this in like a random world that I made, I would wait for the world to load, which might take a while because I have like a lot of mods installed, but we'll find out. Hold on. Hold on, folks. Oh. Close my mini-map. Ugh. Laggy. But you see that I'm small. I'm small, and I'm tiny, and I'm moving on the correct plane. I grab an item, I'm holding it in the right space, in both hands. Alright. I'm a normal little Steve, and I'm in the right space. And you might not be asking me, okay, but why did you make joints though if you're just going to be normal? Well, that's what the animations are for. So CPM has animations, has an option for animations. Here are some things about CPM's animation tab. There is no animation timeline. It kind of sucks. It's not great. I wish it did not work that way, but it does. You cannot change the position or timing of frames. You just have to guess. You know? It's not great. So, but we're gonna make an animation anyway. I'm gonna make a very simple walk animation. So, to get rid of my dual swords, I go to display, click on right hand and left hand, just get rid of those. Alright, I hope it does. So it's display, item in right hand, and then empty, that's what that is. I'm gonna make a walking animation. So it says, if I click on empty right here, it says no animation. There is no animation currently playing. I go to this green plus sign here, and make a new animation. Pose, and you'll see you'll be assaulted by all these poses. You will be overwhelmed in poses. You don't need to worry about half this shit. Don't worry about it. Alright, so these white poses, these are always playing animation. You can disable this if you do some things right, but we're not going to worry about that now. But like, let's say if you wanted to have like the head always like nodding up and down, you would not select the head. You would just select. Actually, it might even be prudent to parent to the head. Would this always be playing? And now it's always going to be playing that animation. So actually, just for grins, we'll make a very simple global animation. You have. Let me actually go through what I just did very slowly. You go to the plus. So you are on frame 0. This is actually frame 1. This is frame 1 of your animation. If you press plus a bunch of times, it'll start out at that base position. So if you don't want to do that, you are going to need to make a frame, change it, and then add a new frame to have it start out at the same place. So like if I were to change this, press plus, it would start out at the same place, press plus, start at the same place, press plus, and now I have this nodding animation. Whereas if I just started it here, and then like did this, it would start out here and it would look kind of awkward. It would not. It's weird to explain, but if you want to make a brand new frame, you press plus. No, oh my god. Clear all. Be gone with you. I delete all these other frames that I made for no reason. This is frame 0. If you want to start out from a blank slate, you start out on frame 0. If you want to start every frame on the blank slate, you make a bunch of frames first, and they'll have the same position as this frame. But if I press this and I press both a bunch of times, every frame has this position. All right. If I make a frame and then I do this, oops, not while playing. It'll do this instead. So just be. It's complicated. It's easier to do it than it is to explain it. I'm sorry. That's not a very good explanation. I'm so sorry. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to make a very simple global animation of frame 0, tilt this guy's head down. Frame 1, tilt this guy's head back. It'll always be playing. The duration in milliseconds. So 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. If you want to have this play super slowly, you would do something like 6,500 milliseconds. Then you have this very slow global animation. All right. And it'll always be playing. If you go into test, no matter what animation is playing, this head bobbing animation will always be playing. That's what that means. So, player head. This is just what your player head does. I don't ever use this. Custom pose. So there are these important descriptions here. Can be activated using the gestures menu. That's the G menu. Plays until deactivated. Only one pose animation type can play. So all of these are poses. This custom pose will overwrite the... If you're walking and you play a custom pose, it will overwrite your walk animation. That's what that does. Gesture is a separate thing from poses. If you play a gesture while walking, it will not overwrite your walk animation. At least in theory. That's what the difference between those are. So climbing ladder. So all these yellow ones are pretty self-explanatory. These are the ones you're going to see most often. Climbing a ladder, dying, flying, riding, running, etc. Riding is just sitting, if you care about that, or if you have like G-Sit installed on your server. Riding, spinning. Swimming pre 1.13, I don't know if you would want to do anything with this unless you're playing on a 1.12 server, which, like, why would you do that? It's 2022? I don't know. Creative flying. These are the ones that display only if CPM is installed on the server. Don't bother with these if the mod is on installed server side. These are the ones that play conditionally, like if you're cold, this animation will play. If you're on fire, this animation will play. If you're speaking using a voice chat mod, this animation will play. If you're wearing armor, these animations will play. If you're wearing a player head or a skull, this animation will play. These are things like actions. So if you're eating food, this is what will play. If you're swinging your sword, this is what will play. If you're holding a crossbow, this is what will play. That's what that does. So these are all color-coded, and if you ever want to have a more in-depth description, it will sort of tell you what the conditions for these animations are. Okay, but for the sake of this, we're going to make a very simple walking animation. I'm going to click on walking, it's going to be selected, I press OK. This is a very important screen right here. So, additive versus non-additive. This is a very important checkbox, actually, perhaps the most important thing in this entire mod. Additive means that if you are walking and you do anything else, the walking animation will not override that animation. So, like, if you're walking and you punch, the walking animation will not override the punch. If you click this and you uncheck additive, if you're walking and you punch, the punch will not play. And my music is stopped because it thinks I'm not watching anymore. So, let's say I made this mistake with a previous model. Let's drag out my good buddy Ellis's. Let's drag him out. Wait for my model to load. My good buddy and OC name of Ellis's. Okay, so if I'm walking, I made my walking animation not additive. I don't know why it's so shiny. I made my walking animation not additive. I'm punching right now. I'm clicking my mouse as fast as you can. It's not punching. If I'm standing still, it's punching because I made my standing animation not additive. That's what the difference is. That's what the thing is. Like my running animation, I did not make that additive. And punching right now, you can't see me punching. It's really sad. But I made the head additive. So actually, I'll have to explain that later as well. Why I did that. So thank you for your service, Ellis. I am now closing you. Alright. So, walking animation. Let's make a walking animation additive. You will see that it will start moving like this. You go to display, play animations turned off. You do not want that on. It's annoying, and I hate it. Actually, for walking animation specifically, so let's say I oh wait, also an important thing before I start doing the walking animation, I totally forgot this step. I'm going to parent the bottom portions of the joints to the top portions. So I'm going to go back into the model menu. Right click the bottom portion, I parent it to the top portion. And now if I click the top portion, I can move the entire arm at once. Like elbows. This is elbows! This is elbows, everybody! This is what that is. That's why I did that. But I totally freaking forgot to do it here. Alright, oh my god. That would have been so disastrous. But actually, for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to, just for grins, make an animation where they're both, his arms are raised up in the air. He's partying. It's just a pose. So if he's walking, it's like this. It looks a little silly. And now you'll know why. You'll learn why I did not make my walk animation additive, actually. I forgot there was a reason I even did that. Oh god, I'm so small. So if I'm walking, you'll see my arms are up in the air. The default vanilla animations are still playing. This is because the walking animation, as it stands now, is additive. If you want your arms and legs to flow in time with each other, you want to have joints and not do any guesswork with regards to timings, you will want to make your walking and running animations not additive. You will want to decide this in advance because let's say I uncheck additive. And I have it checked still. And I do this. Oh, normally the bones explode a little bit. Normally the bones are exploding. Fine. Whatever. Who cares? That's clear. I'm going to decide now it's not going to be additive. My walk animation will not be additive. I'm gonna uninvisible my head, my arms, and everything except for my right leg, the leg that is closest to me. But because it's not additive, once you rotate your leg at all, this is where you're starting from. Alright, so, what was I even talking about? I had technical difficulties. So, if you're going to make a non-additive walking animation, what you need to do first is, so, the base left leg and right leg thing, you're just gonna want to, like, move that, or rotate it by, like, literally 0.1 degrees or something. It's so silly, but it'll snap into place, and then you can start animating normally, because CPM is a very strange mod with regards to how it wants to do things. So what was it? What did I do? 85. God. Move the leg. Move it back into place. I move it backwards. Oops. Press pant legs. Backward. Bend the knee. Move. This whole thing. Ouch. It's like a walking animation. It's like a walking! We're walking! Oh my god, that took so long to figure out why it wasn't working. And additive animations are very finicky. You have to move something the slightest bit, and then it'll start playing as part of the animation. If you don't move it, it won't register as part of it. I don't know why. It just does this. So, to move things sort of in opposition to each other. So, this is frame 1, rather. Frame 0, as it were. So, this is rotated 300 degrees. I move forward 2 frames because it's a 4-frame animation. I type in 300 degrees. So now it's going to move. When this is moving back, this is moving the same amount that the left leg was moving forward. So go back. The next frame is 0 degrees. That's very easy. Because it's already 0 degrees. Frame 2 is 45 degrees. I go forward 2 frames. It's 45. So now these two legs are moving in opposite to each other. But now you see also I moved the knee. So on any frames that the knee moved, I go forward 2 frames and I type that in. So this is 40 degrees. This is 5 degrees. So 5 degrees. Oops. $95 degrees. Now we have legs. God. We have walking. We're walking. With the legs here. It looks kind of like we're walking. It's not a great walking animation, mind you, but that does work, and that's why we did the joints. So that now you have more freedom of movement to express like how you want to walk as your given model. That's why we did that. If you want to just like have a Steve, but you want to have knees, whatever. If you want to do like a sit pose, you can cross your legs. It's awesome. That's why we do that. Same thing for the arms. In order to get them to not be in this position, you rotate them by like 0.1 degrees very slightly. Uncollapse this. So currently the right leg is moving out. I move the left arm, rotate the left arm forward, and ugh. 45, 0, out. You have to do this for all the frames. I forgot. Very strange. God, but because this is moving right, the left arm is moving. The right leg is moving out. The left arm is moving out also. So. So now when the left leg moves out, the right arm moves out. Sorry, the right leg moves out, the left arm moves out. Ugh. And we can do like a little bit of elbow action. Elbow action. If you want, you can also feel free to move apart if you want. I prefer not to, just because I like having my elbows be flush with the rest of the arm, which leads to sometimes limited options in joint rotation, but that's just me. So you have a little bit of elbow movement. For the elbow movement. There we go. Now we have a little bit of, we have some expressiveness here. Move down slightly. There's a little bit of Z fighting. That's fine. Don't worry about that right now. If you're really sicko for Z fighting, do that on your own time. I'm not doing it in this. Not perfect, but it's good enough. So, left arm top. This frame is 310 degrees. I go forward 2 frames, 310 degrees. Back. That's the only frame that's moved, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Left arm bottom. This is 341 degrees. And I also moved this. This is 4.30 and 1.90. So 4.30, 0.90. There we go. Did I move anything else in here? No. So now, oops. I didn't move this one enough. Oh, I rotated the parent. Ugh, I didn't mean to do that. This is 320. Yeah, try not to rotate the parent if you can help it. 20. Because that makes things harder, I feel like. A rule of thumb I have is I move the parent bone up and down. I rotate the actual thing that I care about, the thing that I made. I move the vanilla bone up and down, I rotate the parent bone. I find that at least a slightly smoother animations that way. So if you accidentally rotate the parent bone, not a huge deal. 310. So 20. 20. $320. Yippee! Oh, okay. There's one that I didn't rotate. 350. There we go. Now we have a walking animation. Oh my god. That took forever for no reason at all. But with slight articulation in the elbows and knees. So, you might be wondering, okay, what if you want to do the head? The thing about non-additive animations is that if you move the head, you will not move your head when you turn in the animation, which is, it sucks. I don't know why it does that. So let's say I move this down just a little bit. I test in game. I made a walking animation in there. I test in game. Ugh. So, Please. Alright, I walk towards the camera, small, and because I did the animation, my head does not rotate. Or at least it shouldn't rotate. If you move the head on all 4 frames, it wouldn't rotate. Or yeah, like, you can see, like, my head isn't rotating with the camera. It's rotating because the body is rotating, and that's just how Minecraft works, but the head is not rotating with the body. And also, you can see this isn't a good walking animation because I'm kind of floating off the ground in some frames, but again, not the point. Perfection is not the point of this. So, in order to have the head animation work well, you're going to want to make a second walking animation and make it additive. So the first animation is not additive. I'm going to name the second animation head walking, or walking head. That's additive. And I'm going to rotate the head, just side to side. Oops. Side to side, fairly quickly. So I'm walking. I'm doing this kind of weird head bobbing thing. And now you'll see that, once the world loads again. Hold on. In a moment. So my head is moving with the camera, and my head is moving more with the camera when I'm doing this. It's a little hard to notice because the head is moving so much, but that is how that works. So you'll actually see if I bring up my friend Ellis's again. The walking animation, or the running animation rather, the head is bobbing quite a lot. And if I were to I have 2 running animations, one with the body and the head is static, because this is a non-additive animation, as you see here. This is not a static animation. Or sorry, the head is static because I put all the movement I was going to put in the head here, and the additive running animation. So now when I'm running, the head can turn freely. That's why I did that. So it's useful to use both additive and non-additive animations in conjunction with one another, but be warned that additive animations play vanilla animations at the same time, but non-additive ones do not. So if you want to punch while running, you make your arm movement in a separate additive animation. If you want to bob your head while running, make your head movement in a separate additive animation. That's how you do it. That's what you do. And then when it's put together, you get this very cohesive running animation. And it looks awesome, and it's great, and I'm laughing, and I'm smiling, and I'm clapping, and I'm playing. Yes, that's why. Oops. I don't need to reload that. So I have my small guy running. Sorry, I'm walking, and this is my walking animation. My little walking animation. So, to export a model, you are greeted with this screen. So you go to File, Export. You have several options. Export mode. So CPM exports models in these blank spaces here. This contains all the data for your model, this black space here. Model. This is for if you have CPM installed on the server. Base64 string. I don't know what this is for. It says it's for map developers and server owners, which I don't know how many people are going to be doing this. But most people just use skin. I like to do force link file, and you change the vanilla skin. So this is what everyone in Minecraft is going to see. This is not the skin that I want people to see. This is my current Minecraft skin. I change the vanilla skin by pressing open skin. I go to the same place that I've been going to. You get it? Oops, sorry. You select a 64x64 skin. So I actually opened the base Minecraft skin that I downloaded from, like, internet. I add skin to list. Ignore this. Where is it? You know what? Executive decision. I'm going back into Paint.net, and I'm just going to undo everything I did. And I'm going to save that as a skin file, because I'm not doing all that. So save as something or other. Go back into Minecraft. Open skin. I get the actual skin that I care about. with my very indicative name, add skin to list. There we go, select skin. This is what everyone on Minecraft is going to see. This is a default skin, default Steve model, so default. Export and upload. So, this will change your current Minecraft skin. It'll say upload paste or upload gist. So this is for GitHub. If you want to use gist, you go on a GitHub and you get, you need to create a GitHub gist and put the URL here. I don't do this because I find it more complicated than it needs to be. This is a paste. This is located on the server, it's located on the mod's like sort of hosting website. So you can upload it to here. Type in the paste site. It'll say successfully uploaded skin to minecraft.net. You can now leave. I'm gonna go on like a server. And you see now that, oh god. You see now that I forgot to do something very important, but in theory, I'm very tiny. You see now that I forgot to do something very important. So, if you have a changed model, and you want to wear armor, you're going to notice that you're not going to want to necessarily finagle with all the armor parts. You go to Edit, Tools, or sorry, Edit, Add Parts, Armor. You are now presented with all these. If you want to hide them, you see that the head is not matching up. If you want to hide them, go to Effects, then by default, for all of these. God. And now you can wear armor without having it displayed on your model. So if I were to go back into my in-game world, taking a while. Ugh. I grab a chest plate. Put this on. I am wearing it, but you don't see it on my model because I hid it. Alright? That's important. Now I go and re-export it because I forgot. Alright, and I exit. Alright, I'm wearing armor. I'm not there. It's not there. Alright. So. So in this in this tutorial, this very chaotic, this very impromptu tutorial, you have learned, or I have said at least, how to change the size of your texture atlas, how to rearrange your UVs, how to import a new image like for use in here, how to change the texture sheet size, how to add joints, how to animate a model, and how to export it. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna cry. I hope this is useful to someone in the slightest. I hope I did a decent job of explaining. If not, I am so sorry. I don't really know what I'm doing. Good luck. And try your best. And take your time, and also take wrist breaks, because if you do this for a long time, your wrist is going to hurt. So make sure to stretch your wrist or something, okay? Don't get carpal tunnel. Goodbye.